Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vibing Out with Texony. I'm your host, Texony, aka Mr. WorldVibe. And what we have here is a community to give local voices a public platform of shared ideas, knowledge, and perspectives. So, welcome back. This isn't really the off season right now. We are kind of in between the off season 2021 and 2022. So I decided to bring y'all some different episodes. This is a Music Mondays. This is Music Mondays 2021 Wrapped. We're going to be talking about the top 10, or at least my top 10 albums of this year. And I love doing Music Mondays. I have the playlists. I've had Music Monday podcasts. So I'm just bringing this back. This is a fan favorite. And so for those who remember this series, well, welcome back. If you're new to the podcast, you might enjoy Music Mondays. So welcome in. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's been a long time since I've been on video. And so this is fun. This is different. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then thank you. Subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. And there's also ratings now. So give this episode, give this podcast a rating. I've been really appreciating all the support y'all have given me lately, and it's been so amazing. I'm just glad to be back here for another episode. So my apologies on the fact that this episode is a little bit late. It's not technically Monday when I'm dropping this, Music Mondays. But I've been going through some stuff lately. It's been tough to make the time to sit down and get this episode done, but it's here now. And part 2 to this is coming out next week, next Monday. It's going to be Music Mondays Wrapped, but it's going to be top 10 songs, because not necessarily our favorite albums have our favorite songs. It's not really the same like that. And to be honest, the whole Spotify Wrapped, I don't feel like they've completely got it right. So that's why we do this at the end of the year, to actually get it right for ourselves, Really excited to talk about music. I don't really want to waste any time. Let's hop into it. I love music so much. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of my identity, my personality. Who I am is largely shaped by the music I've listened to growing up. And I'm sure you're not even unlike me in that sense. We all love music. I always say music is a universal vibe. I think it is, because we all connect on music, whether we are from different cultures, religions, backgrounds. We all get together to enjoy music. It brings us together. And so, yeah, I love to talk about music, and I'm here to talk about my top 10 albums. I wonder if you will have some of these albums on your top 10 as well. Maybe you have different albums on your top 10. I don't know. Let me know. Message me at VibingOutWT on Instagram, or comment in the comment section. Let me know what your top 10 albums are of this year. How do you feel about this year's music? I feel personally like we got a lot of music this year from a lot of different artists. Like the top artists, we got a lot from, like, the Kanyes, the Drakes. Like, we got music from people at the top, and a lot of different artists dropped. Even if it's just a little something, I think there's a lot of good music this year. So that's why I think it's a good time to check in and talk about what we enjoyed. So let's get started. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. And just so y'all know, like, this is my top 10. It doesn't mean it's the 10 best albums of the year. No, I'm not like some Grammy nomination. No, I'm just one guy. You're here because you might enjoy my perspective, but my perspective is not any more important or significant than your perspective or their perspective over there. So this is just what I enjoy. And so, yeah, let's get into it. So number 10 here is The Offseason by J. Cole. And I'm a big J. Cole fan. I've been listening to him really a lot since Friday Night Lights and a little bit before then, but I've been a fan of him like his whole career so far. And so I had to put him on my top 10. I did have to. However, he did fall at only number 10. I really liked The Offseason. I really liked how he was able to talk about concepts that are not just the same things he's been talking about before. Like, he really talked about kind of like fatherhood, for example, and kind of the struggles with going through that. He matures as an artist in terms of the content he talks about. The sound quality was really good. The lyrics were great. For me, I just felt like the project was kind of short. I felt like it didn't really last that long. Like, it had a big impression on me. I remember, especially in the summer, I was listening to this album a lot when I was going on walks around here. And it was a good album. I really enjoyed. Some of the songs on there are actually like some of my favorites this whole year. But overall, the project was good, like memorable, but not like number 1 or 2, like my top albums of the year. It's number 10 for a reason, and I enjoyed it. I kind of just left that album feeling like I want more. Like it wasn't really enough. That's all. That's how the album personally left me. So that's my number 10. Number 9 is Punk by Young Thug. So as many of y'all know, Young Thug is one of my favorite artists for what he's done to music, hip hop, for what he's done to like just express, like artists expressing themselves and being different and putting themselves out there. And he has an entire label of artists, everyone from like Lil Baby to Gunna. He's put on so many artists and really changed hip hop going forward. And so his sound is always different. I love hearing the different kind of songs he'll make, the different sounds, different styles he'll approach music. And he did that on Punk. It was like over 20 songs. It was a long album. So very much unlike J. Cole's album, the Offseason. This album was, it had a lot of different sounds. I was expecting something kind of more like on the like country or like rockish sound from the few snippets or songs that were released, but it ended up being a little bit like a subdued sound, plus a few like bangers, you could say. He had the one with Travis Scott and Drake. He had one with Juice WRLD, but he also had more like somber tracks, like the song Days Before with Mac Miller. This one was one of my favorites on the project. And so it was, I liked how there were a lot of good songs on the project, but because there were so many songs, but there were also songs in there that like weren't my favorites. So all in all, I enjoyed the album. I was a little bit underwhelmed with the quality of songs that were released on this project. He did a tiny desk project at one of his houses, and it was amazing. It's on YouTube. It got me so excited for the album. There were some great songs and singles that were on this. I just feel like as an artist, when you drop an album with like over 20 songs, not all the songs are going to be like the highest quality. And that's kind of what happened on here. There were like 5 to 7 songs that I really, really enjoyed, and the rest were kind of like okay-ish. So I like that there were a high quantity of music, of songs, but it didn't live up to my full expectations, especially of a Young Thug album. I was really, really anticipating this album. I thought it was going to be my top, like, number 1 album of the year, but it came in at number 9. That's all good. Young Thug is still a GOAT, okay? Let's move on to number 8. This one came into my number 8. It came into the top 10 albums list, like, right when I started listening to it a few weeks ago. So it just slipped into the top 10 here. And that's Alone at Prom by Tory Lanez. Yes, I know there's a lot of controversy, as people in the UK say, going on around Tory Lanez right now. And so I want to separate the artist from the music for a sec, because I think sometimes you can put together the artist and music, and you can say, I don't like this artist, I will not listen to their music. I understand that people do that. Kanye West is one of those examples. He's done a lot of crazy things, said a lot of crazy things, but I've always loved his music. I've always separated him from his music because he's never said anything to personally offend me. Like Tory shooting Meg, like that has, or whatever, allegedly, that has nothing to do with me. She's fine, he's fine, they'll figure it out, whatever happens, whatever. I'm just saying I enjoyed the album. That's it. I enjoyed Alone at Prom. It was an 80s style project. I mean, he's never done something like this. I really appreciate how he tries to be versatile. I'm not like the biggest fan of Tory Lanez. He's never had an album in my top 10 ever. But he's a great artist, especially coming from Brampton, where we are right now. Shout out Brampton. And yeah, it was a good album. I really liked how it was different. 80s style, like I said, it was I would never expect him to try something like this. Someone in the comments on one of the posts on Instagram said it's the great value version of The Weeknd's After Hours, which I was dying of laughter, because it's, you can look at it like that. It is, because it's an 80s styled album, and who really does that nowadays other than The Weeknd? The Weeknd really, really pulled it off. Like that was one of my number 1 top album of last year. But Tory Lanez, I respect him for trying this, and I like the sounds. It makes me want to dance. It makes me want to move and groove. I enjoyed it. For what it was, I enjoyed it. And I'm the type of person where I really appreciate when artists go outside of their box. So you could put an artist in a box and say, okay, this is what you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to rap, Tory Lanez. You're supposed to make this kind of music. But when artists can go outside of what they're expected to do and just be experimental, those are often for me like where I find the most gems of their songs. Kid Cudi did this one time when he made the Speeding Bullet to Heaven project. One of the worst rated projects by critics, by fans. Actually, I think a lot of fans liked it, but critically, it was like got like 1 star out of 10, like 0 out of 5. It got trashed. Speeding Bullet to Heaven, but that had some of my favorite songs by him as an artist on there because he went out of his comfort zone. He did like a Nirvana grungy rock kind of style album, and that's kind of what Tory Lanez did with Alone at Prom. The songs, it's a very what's it called? Everything's cohesive. It all sounds the same. It's the story of a guy who has a girl, she left him, or it's a bunch of different same themes, but the sounds are a little bit different. And yeah, I enjoy how I can move to this, drive to this album, even work out to this album. Like, I love how the sounds are. And again, yeah, I like when artists do things different. I appreciate it. Let's move on now to number 7, which is Melodic Blue by Baby Keem. I hope the album's right. Melodic Blue, yeah. So anyways, this album was amazing. I really liked it. It was Baby Keem's first full-length LP. So his first like album he's ever dropped, basically. And it made it on my top 10. It was amazing. He really came out the gates like a professional artist right away. And yeah, I was impressed. He had some great features on there. He had 2 songs with Kendrick Lamar. They're related. A song with Don Toliver, Travis Scott. Might have had a few other features I'm forgetting right now, but all in all, it was a really solid project. You could tell as an artist, he's still working out his exact sound, and he does sound a little like not lost, but still trying to find his way. And he even talks about this and mentions this in some of the lyrics, how he's looking for his path and everything. But for his first album, it was really well done. The different sounds on there, the different concepts, it was very unique. I'll put it at that. And like I said, the features really helped. But overall, yeah, I was very impressed with Melodic Blue by Baby Keem. Definitely give it a listen. It had one of my favorite tracks this year on there. I'll get to that in my next podcast where I'm going to do my top 10 songs of 2021. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It had to make its way onto my top 10 because truthfully, I did listen to it a lot this, I guess, late summer. Now, number 6 is Donda. I might as well just say the deluxe version, Kanye West's album this year. And yeah, it was definitely different, put it that way. Everything from the album cover, which is just a black square, to the songs, how there's so many, and there's a part 2 to a lot of the songs. Everything from the features, he had some great features on there, like Young Thug made it on. He had so many features, like I can't even begin. He had Playboy Cardi on there, he had Kid Cudi on there, he had Andre 3000 on there. A lot of artists showed up to help Kanye with this album, and it was amazing that he made an album for his mom who passed away. Like, when you look at the concept of the album, how it was for his mother, how it's a religious album, how he made sure he wouldn't allow any swearing on this album, but it still had bangers. I really liked what he did with this one. I think it's also nominated for a Grammy, I'm pretty sure. We'll see if he wins, but it's not like my favorite album by Kanye West, but Kanye is one of my favorite artists of all time. He's one of those artists, like I said, who goes out of their comfort zone and makes different styles of music. He's changed the music game, like hip hop in general, from when he started in the 2010s. He's really revolutionized. I always get that word wrong. He's changed the music game so much. And on this project, I don't know if he really changed the game, but he definitely proved that he's still here and he can still make music. He can still do that. He can still make great projects, great singles. Yeah, it was enjoyable. And I liked how there were a lot of songs. Like, kind of like the Young Thug album, there were a lot of songs. They weren't all like songs I'm going to be playing all the time, but the songs that were on there, I did enjoy a lot of them. Very high quality music. Kanye always drops high quality music, let's be honest. And this project was, not short of that at all. So I enjoyed it. It's my number 6. It's not gonna be my favorite of the year, even though Kanye is one of my favorite artists. It's not one of my favorites of the whole year, but it's number 6 appropriately. So number 5 is Sometimes I Might Be Introvert by Little Sims. And I'll be honest, I did not know who Little Sims was before this project was released. I think I saw this project on another YouTuber. They make, sometimes YouTubers make videos about, they rate albums and projects. Some YouTubers do this like full time, like they just talk about music all day. And I think that's where I found this album. It was really unique. What can I say? Little Sims is such a unique, talented artist. The sounds on this album, it's like cohesive, that all the songs sound like they fit together, but they also sound like they're just all over the place. There's songs on here that are like rap, dance, pop, almost like reggae sounds, alternative. And I love, like, one thing about me is I love all music. Like, you can bring me any song. It can be whale noises. I don't care. If it's a song, I will find some enjoyment in it, or I'll appreciate it in some way. So when artists are able to make projects that have all these different sounds, like, and she does them top quality, like, they're amazing. They're just very unique, but also very not really replicable. Like, she's doing her own thing and making some stand out like hits. Like, it's banger after banger after banger on this project, and they're just so out there. Like, the music is so wild. Some songs you want to dance to, some songs you want to like rap to. All I can say is Little Sims is very talented. I gotta go check out more of her discography and check out the music she's made in the past, because this project really surprised me. Came out of nowhere for me and landed up on my top 10. So there you go. Number 5 is Little Sims. Now, number 4, let's get to we're getting close to number 1 here. Number 4 is Life of a Dawn by Don Toliver. So yes, he did release an album this year, and this one was really good. I ended up playing some of the songs on this album a lot. The songs in this album are kind of like, it's a hip hop, like trap sound, very intense with the sonics, like the sound of the album. The instrumentals are very, very top notch, high quality. As far as like his rapping and stuff, it's not like, that's not the standout thing. I think the most important thing in this project were the beats and the overall vibe of this album. It's very much music you can just drive late at night to, and I really enjoyed the project for that. This is the kind of music that I want to play as like background noise when I'm driving, like I said, when I'm working out, when I'm hanging out with my friends. Like, this is really, really replayable music. It's got replay value. That's something people always talk about. But yes, this album has a lot of replay value, and I liked it. A few of the songs on that album were like my top songs of the whole year. So I couldn't not put Don Toliver on here as one of my top 10 albums. Definitely number 4, rightfully so. Like, I've played his music, this album, so much. So yeah, that's my number 4 respectively. So before we move to our number 3, the top 3 albums of 2021, I want to stop and give my notable mentions, or honorable mentions, whatever people call them. There's 3 albums that did not make it to my top 10. I'll explain why, but they're also albums I really enjoyed. One is Whole Lotta Red by Playboy Cardi. This is, like, according to Spotify Wrapped, this was my number 1 album of this year. But the thing is, it didn't come out. It came out December 25th, 2020. So it's basically a 2021 played album for me, but it technically didn't come out this year, so I can't include it in my 2021 top albums, but I did play it a lot. Playboy Cardi made a whole different sound on this. It got a lot of hate at first, but then people came around to appreciating it. And it's one of those albums that has a lot of songs, but they're all so different, so high quality, and I played them so much when it came to like working out, walking, just doing things that I needed energy for. The album provides you with so much energy. I loved it for that. Another honorable mention here is Hotels by Jasmine Sullivan. This project was really interesting because, first of all, R&B wise, Jasmine Sullivan is dope. I've listened to her all the way back when I used to like play video games on my computer, and she dropped that song Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Like, that song was amazing. And yeah, so here we have her having a project that basically talks about women's experiences. And there's like little tales, like everyone has kind of like a section where they can speak about a certain instance, and there's some songs on there. I really liked it. It's really high quality R&B from her, and she's just showing that she's still got it. Like Jasmine Sullivan, she's still out here, and she's an amazing vocalist. Like, probably one of the best of this generation. So she's very underrated in that sense, I will say. I wish the album had more songs. Like, a lot of the actual songs on the album are just people's like 1-minute tales, and there's maybe like 7 or 8 actual tracks. But for what it was, I really enjoyed the project. I really did. And the last notable mention, or honorable mention, whatever, is Certified Lover Boy by Drake. It didn't make it to my top 10, y'all. I'll be honest, it did not make it in. But it was a good project. It was really good, but I wouldn't say it's my top 10 of the year. I mean, there were some great songs on there, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it was Drake's best work. He's dropped so many projects now that for him to drop another project and for it to be his best one, that's really hard to do. In this project, he kind of just made songs that like he's made before. Like, he did like the best of. That's what he did. He did the best of Drake. All the different sounds we've heard before, he just did again one time for us. He didn't really do anything different or go outside of his comfort zone in this project. And so that's why I can't say it's my top 10 of the year, but I did enjoy it. Like I said, 2021, we got a lot of music. So I'm glad we got the project. I enjoyed it. And it's one of my honorable mentions. So let's get to number 3. We're getting 3, 2, 1 best albums of this year. So number 3 is 2.5 by Amine. And yeah, what can I say? I really enjoy Amine as an artist. He is so different of a rapper. Like, his everything from his style and his persona to his sounds. He's very, very one of a kind. I don't really know what to say. He's just very different with it. I'm at loss for words right now. I'm not gonna explain this, but if you haven't heard his music, check it out now. He made that song Riri, and he made another song I'm forgetting. It was a really famous one that was on all the radio stations, but you probably know who he is. And this project came out of nowhere for me. It's one of his like mixtape type albums. He had 1.5 as well, but on this one, he just did things very loosely and very creatively. This album, it's got sounds from the 90s. It's got alternative styled sounds. It's got very dance, pop, hip hop, and rap. So I really enjoyed this because, like I've been saying, y'all, I really enjoy when artists can take things to a different level and just are willing to try and experiment with new sounds. This album was that for me. I really enjoyed dancing, working out, driving to this music. Like, I love music that I can just replay in different scenarios. And yeah, this album really did that for me. Everything from the song Colors, Okay With Me, like a bunch of different songs on this album really, really stuck. And Charmander was just so different. The way he takes samples, it's very refreshing. You know, he's a very refreshing artist, put it that way. So I really enjoyed this project. It came out in the latter half of the year, but it snuck all the way up to number 3. And yeah, I really am excited for what he's got coming next. You can never know what to expect from this artist, but he's very talented, and he's only dropped a few albums. Like, he's relatively a new artist still, very young, and so I'm excited to see what we get from Amine in the future. Now, number 2. Here we go. We're on our top 2 right now. This album I thought would be my number 1 all year, but it made its way to number 2. It was like a tight race between 2 and 1. Call Me When You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. Wow, this album from top to bottom is it's just a complete project. Everything from the concept of Tyler traveling the world, and you know what he's going through based on the songs of the album. Like, this album tells a story. I love when albums are conceptual and tell a story, but they're also not like too conceptual where like you need to understand the whole thing to understand what's going on. No, these songs fit by themselves as just great music, but together it fits into such a perfect, story where he's traveling the world, like I said, and and he meets somebody, falls in love. It ultimately doesn't work out, but yeah, this album, a lot, like top to bottom, almost every song I played repetitively for like days on end. Some songs on here are my top songs of the entire year, put it that way. So amazing project. I love seeing Tyler get more into, find himself more. Like, he's really great at bringing together artists to make a great record. That's something that Kanye West is great at too. So I'm kind of comparing Tyler to Kanye in that sense, where, I mean, obviously Tyler hasn't made enough music to change the game like Kanye has, but Tyler's ability to make a quality record with different artists, yeah, it's something special to see. And so, yeah, songs on there like Sweet, I Thought You Wanted to Dance, songs on there like Rise, Run It Up, Wilshire. He's got some great features on there too, like Lil Wayne, like he's got Brent Faiyaz on there. He's got a lot of different sounds on here. But yeah, this came out, I think, in the beginning of the summer. I was playing this all summer. I still play this album now. Let me tell you, it's up there for a reason. And so I really hope that Tyler wins a Grammy for this album. I think he's the most deserving. I think this is like the album of the year that will make it to the, like, I think he got nominated for a Grammy, so I hope he wins. But my number one album, it did not get nominated for a Grammy, which is so disappointing, because if you like hip hop, if you like rap and hip hop, I promise you will like this album. It's Isaiah Rashad's The House is Burning. And we're going to go ahead and say the deluxe edition, The Homies Begged, because this project, I can't explain. Like, if you like hip hop music, you will like this album. You will. I've liked Isaiah Rashad since he came to TDE. TDE is one of my favorite labels of all time. Some of my most influential artists are on this label. Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, SZA, Absol, like, just to name a few. So Isaiah Rashad, he's always made quality projects. And so this one was not even short of that at all. I like the direction he took in this project, where he wasn't so much focusing on the lyricism and trying to make like amazing bars and have amazing wordplay. It was more like a sonic experience. The sounds, and he also gave features a lot of room to do their thing. It wasn't really about him. It's kind of a conceptual album, yes, like The House is Burning, but it's not too conceptual, like I said, with Tyler's album, where you have to know what the concept is to understand the music. No, all these songs you can just play here, there. You can play them with your friends as background noise when you're driving, there's songs that are hype on there. There's songs that are chill. Like, I want to say basically every song on this album is great in its own sense. It's true. This album is top to bottom completely perfect of an album. It's almost perfect. So I recommend you check out this album. I recommend you check out any of these albums I mentioned if you haven't heard them before, and let me know if you like them. Let's have a conversation. And like I said, I want to know what your top 10 albums are, or at least your number one album, because music is a great thing to talk, to connect with, to connect on. And I'm just so excited to have got a chance to explain y'all my top 10 albums of this year. It's been a blast. I'm really excited we got to do this. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you very soon. We got some more episodes coming by the end of this year, so be on the lookout for those. Thank you for watching, for listening. Make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, I'll see you next episode. This has been Vibing Out with Texony. I'm your host, Texony, aka Mr. WorldVibe, and I'm signing out. Peace.